First off, I apologize to everybody. I took down a video because I realized I had a little bit of misinformation in it, and I want to be kind of accurate as possible with what I put out there because it's only right. Uh, who remembers the Tucker automobile? I'm sure some of you have heard of them, but I don't know. Did any of you actually remember the Tucker, and were you around when it came out? Have you ever seen one growing up? I'd love to hear that. Uh, my dad, my dad passed away when I was 13, but I remember him telling me stories of this car that they used to build at the site of what is now Ford City Shopping Mall, and he told me about the Tucker. That's how I learned about the Tucker, through my dad. Pretty cool car. He actually told me that one of his neighbors, while he was growing up, actually had one. It's pretty cool to have a Tucker in the neighborhood. Really neat car. The Preston Tucker, he built 51 cars, called the Tucker Torpedo, or AKA the Tucker 48. It was a really innovative car, way ahead of its time. Actually used a helicopter engine for a power plant. Pretty crazy. They actually made a movie about him. It's going to kind of show my age now. I remember when my parents went to the movie theater at Ford City Mall to see the movie about Tucker when it was in the theater. So that was a while ago too. My dad passed away in '95. Anywho, so when Ford was forced to enter World War II after Pearl Harbor, they needed a facility to build engines for the B-29 bombers, and they chose a location in Chicago, Illinois, on the south side, right off of Cicero Avenue. It was a huge complex, like 82 acres, I believe, 19 buildings. They produced 18,000 Wright Cyclone radial engines there for use in the B-29 bombers. But after the war, the building kind of sat empty, vacant, like nobody used it, until Preston Tucker came along and decided he was going to build his automobiles there. And he did. He built 51 of them. He really had a good car. The people that did have them did like them, and they were supposedly pretty reliable cars, pretty quick, pretty comfortable. There was some controversy. He was I don't know the details off the top of my head, but he had charges brought against him that were later dismissed. But by that time, his reputation was hurt, and he ran out of money, so he couldn't continue on with his dream of building cars. And he subsequently passed away from cancer at the age of 53. Unfortunate. Unfortunate the way things went for him. It really is. So when Tucker closed, a lot of the inventory went to neighboring scrap yards and surplus outfits and stuff. Some of it actually went to what used to be a drive-in at the site of another Chicago area shopping center mall, where Chicago Ridge Mall is. There used to be I believe it was called the Cascade Drive-In, but that was actually a scrapyard at one point that received a number of the components from Tucker. Anywho, he had a lot of parts were around for a while. Well, I found one of those parts. It's pretty cool. I'll show you that in a second here. Ford City Mall, on how it got its name. So it was after Tucker did his thing there, the property then went to Ford, who outfitted the property, updated it so that they could start manufacturing automobiles there, but they never quite got that far, and they subsequently used the property to manufacture airplane engines again for the Korean War. So the government contracted them to build engines for airplanes there again. And that's kind of how it got the name Ford City. I said in the previous video that there was a Ford dealer located on the property, and that's how I thought I got its name. I was told there wasn't a Ford dealer there, and this is not true. Well, actually, it is true. There was a Ford dealer there. It was called Murphy Motors, Ford City Mall. I found a picture. It actually shows front line with the mid-70s Ford LTEs and Galaxies, so I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, what my grandfather and neighbors growing up told me was true, that there was actually a Ford dealer there, and it was called Murphy Motors. It was at Ford City Mall. So it might have something to do with the name. I don't know. But anywho, yeah. Enough of me talking, because everybody says I talk too much. I just wanted to clarify a few things there right off the bat, and show you this awesome piece of Tucker automobile history that I found. I came across this a couple weeks ago in a storage locker of all places. This is pretty freaking awesome. I just had to share it with everybody and just give you a brief history on the Tucker automobile. I would love to have a Tucker, but as far as I know, they're all accounted for, and they're all multi-million-dollar cars at this point. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. But this is kind of the next best thing. It's a radio for a Tucker. Now, I imagine there's probably hundreds of these out there, because I've seen them at different auctions over the years. I've seen them on eBay before. If you do search on like WorthPoint, you can find a bunch that sold. So I imagine after Tucker closed up, there were probably cases and cases and cases of these things floating around. I'm sure a lot of them got scrapped, but I'm sure a lot of them ended up in private hands, like this one. I will do a little unboxing right now and show you guys what's in here, in case you're wondering what I could figure out this there we go. I got it figured out now. In case you're wondering what a Tucker radio looks like, just partially unbox it. Is that cool or what? So that's how it would have mounted in the dashboard, vertically. I guess they did that to save room, but that's actually only the control head. It's like a remote control head. Not remote control, but remotely mounted control head. Throw it. I didn't want to take it all the way out of the box. Put that back. Show you this. How it's in there. Look at, brand new in the box, never used. Pretty freaking awesome. That was kind of interesting to note that the OE supplier was Motorola, which is another Chicago area company. I have an uncle that actually worked at Motorola for years as an engineer. He's got a lot of patents under his name. I'd love to dig into his head at some point, just see what kind of stuff is accredited towards him. He was there when all the cell phones came out and everything, so I'm sure he's got some cool stories. But check that out. Package contents list. Customer's warranty policy. And installation instructions. It's pretty cool, huh? This is made by Motorola for Tucker Corporation, Chicago, Illinois. Pretty awesome, huh? This is like all the cables that go from the head unit to the amplifier assembly. And, oh, there is more stuff in there. Just noticed something else in there that I didn't see before. And this would be the amplifier assembly. It mounts, like, you know, back behind the dashboard or wherever else in the vehicle. But look, brand new, never used. It's amazing. Antenna trimmer. Yep, it's a pretty amazing piece. There's a warranty tag. So if you ever come across one of these that's sealed and you're curious to open it, well, now you know what to expect inside. And yeah, this is honestly a pretty awesome piece as far as I'm concerned, as far as something that I would want. Unfortunately, I have a friend who had to have it. He actually made me a really good offer. I thought it was a really good offer. He said it was actually one of his bucket list items. It's something he's been looking for, and I just figured it was meant to be. So he saw it on one of my Facebook posts and decided that he had to have it. So he made me a pretty good offer, and it found a new home with him. So Steve, I really hope you're going to give it a great home, and I hope you really enjoy it. But once I get home, I'm going to show you something else that's really cool, and kind of the reason why I decided to pass this piece on to somebody else, because I've got something at home that I think is a little cooler than the radio. Real quick, just a couple things I forgot about. There's still one building that survived out of those 19 buildings. It later became a Chicago Tootsie Roll factory. That building's still standing. I don't remember if it's still a Tootsie Roll factory or not. I moved away from that area about 10 years ago, and I haven't driven by there in a little bit, but we used to drive by and smell the Tootsie Rolls. So that's kind of cool. And as far as Fort City Mall goes, we used to go there. My parents used to bring me there growing up, but it got a little worse and worse being on the south side of Chicago. And when I was a teenager, it gained a kind of a bad reputation, or started to gain a bad reputation. Like we'd go there as kids, it was fine, but as we started getting a little bit older, it got more and more dangerous over there. And I remember the last time I went there, I was driving my 1979 Lincoln Mark V that I daily drove at the time, and went there for an eye exam, and I came back out to a broken window on my car, the door open, and missing Pioneer head unit. Yeah, that wasn't a fun car to put a window in. Could be worse. They could have taken the whole car, right? And I almost forgot. The only reason I'm totally okay with getting rid of such a cool piece is because I have an even cooler piece of Tucker history at home that I don't think anybody else has. So check this thing out. If anybody knows anything about this, it'd be awesome to hear from you. Yes, it's a Car Club drag plate, but it says Tucker's on it, and it's got a Tucker. So was the name of the club just the Tuckers, and they used the Tucker as their logo, or did they actually have a group of Tuckers and they were called the Tuckers? I don't know, but I've never seen another one. Can't find any information about it, and it's cool as hell. So yeah, that's why I was totally okay selling the radio. This thing's awesome. I like it even more on the radio. See you later.